everybody. Welcome to Parent Cafe Live on our YouTube channel, Parent Cafe Live. And today our video is going to be about the importance of play, or the power of play. And it really ranges from all spectrums, but if you start in early childhood, you'll see the biggest advantages as we grow and learn. But at any point in our lives, we can implement this and make it better. So as you guys know, I usually talk about parenting topics that help us understand our journey a little bit. So as always, please like, share, comment. These you can access easily on the channel. That's why we went to the YouTube platform. So I hope you enjoy these, and if you have questions, I would love for you to post those on there and I will get back to you on those, or if you have topics you would like us to cover in the future. So with the power of play, so when you're looking at early childhood, children learn to work in groups and to share, to negotiate, to resolve conflicts, and learn self-advocacy, all through playing with us as adults and playing with their peers, and even doing their own solitary play. So today we're going to look at some of the benefits, the different stages of play as they go through development. We're going to look at some characteristics and things that we can do to support their playing. So I don't think any of it is things you maybe have never heard, and I don't think there's anything in there that we can't do as parents. I don't think it's any of it's really difficult. It's just sometimes we need the reminder. As I was doing the research for this, I was like, yeah, I think that play has to be fun and spontaneous. So a big thing I learned is managing our expectations. So it's okay if it seems weird, whatever they're playing. So that's my biggest takeaway. So we'll see what your guys' is after we wrap up. So the benefits of playing, it stimulates early child development. So their brain, the earlier kids start to play, there's studies where their IQ is higher. So it just makes them more intelligent. It doesn't mean like they're going to go to Harvard versus community college. It just means the way they relate to the world is their brain power is going to be stronger. It improves their intelligence, sparks creative thinking. Creative thinking is really good just for problem solving skills. So it translates into life skills. Improves their communication, vocabulary, and language skills. Promotes impulse control and regulation. So you'll see a lot with like social emotional skills in here. Their social emotional competence and empathy can grow. Better physical and mental health. Teaches life lessons in a safe environment, and can strengthen the relationship with us as caretakers and their peers. So I think those are all really positive benefits. I don't think any of us would dispute that, right? So there's 6 stages of play. So this is some of these you might see at different stages, but their capacity to do these things through their development. So unoccupied play. So you see this often in infants where they're just kind of looking at all the things in front of them. It's kind of disorganized. They're checking things out, kind of trying to understand like, oh, this is a toy. Like if they're playing with blocks or their rattle or the shiny things on the mobile in front of them. I mean, they're doing a lot of perceptions into the world. Like they're getting an understanding that they're outside of those things and that they have some control over touching and feeling the sounds, things like that. Solitary play is when they're more engaged in with their toys and they're playing by themselves and okay with that. The next stage is onlooker play, and that's when they're watching others play with things. If you have multiple kids in your household, you'd notice this a little bit more. I know, when my son was little, he'd often just be like watching the dog or us, and like you'd be eating dinner at the table and just kind of like exploring like, what are you doing with that fork? So they're watching the way the world works around them, and that's playful. And kind of just curious about how other people are interacting with things. The next thing is parallel play. So that's when kids will play side by side. They're not necessarily playing the same game, but they're doing things in close proximity to each other. Then associative play is where they start to kind of share and work through things. They're not quite on the same page yet. They're doing their own thing still, but they're with others. And then cooperative play is when they're actually like negotiating together and making up rules. And so you see a big difference between that associative, so parallel, associative, and then cooperative. Those stages are really fun to watch. I think like right around age 3, you start to see a big growth in those, and those happen pretty quickly. So solitary play, you know, that is a stage. It doesn't mean that kids won't play by themselves later on as they develop. It just their brain capacity to navigate these things and navigate these like relationships and how those affect come with brain development. So things you should do is setting the scene. So creating opportunities for your kids to learn at any of those stages is going to be big. Support and guide. So you can kind of show them some things, but don't force them to play with anything that you want them to play with, because it does need to be spontaneous for that to be meaningful for them. And hold your expectations. So I have noticed that's something I didn't do. I was like, oh, he should be doing this, or he's not engaging with me, but he really was playing. So it was a lot harder on myself than I needed to be. So that was good. So expectations of yourself as well is important. So important factors about play, what really makes play is it's self-chosen, self-directed. We can help support it, but we should never take the lead or guide it. If you have a shy child that sometimes you have to like stoke the fire a little bit to get them excited, that's one thing, but that should still be their decision. It becomes about the process and not like the product. So instead of it just being about the toy and them, like I think of Paw Patrol's, like my son comes up with this whole story, and then he starts integrating other characters from different shows and stuff. So he's not just trying to recreate one thing. He's using his imagination, and he's using like motor skills and language because he's talking out loud, and he does this with other kids too. You see a lot more of this when you have like true toys. So if you're giving them things that they can be creative with, like building blocks, like remember like the spin tops, and there's things that actually have functions. So if you're buying toys for your kids, I mean, we all have like character toys, but make sure there's things that they kind of have to figure out how to use, and there's some more to it than that. Individually constructed, so that means it's self-governed, so they create the own rules of that world. They set the rules and boundaries of that structure of that play, and which is really cool because they get to test things and their place in the world and have a safe place to do all that. It's imaginative, so it doesn't have to fit in the real world. Active, so they are really involved in it. So they're active and alert, engaged, but it's not necessarily stressful. One important thing is, so as babies, we are born with the capacity to learn through play. So we're naturally curious, we're naturally playful, and we naturally want social connection. So it's a really good place to learn and do that in a fun way, to where kids want to expand their understanding on things. So we can encourage this by participating, encouraging mistakes, like it's okay if that was not how things really happen, or if that broke, or that fell down, or whatever. Build a playful space. Make sure they have a space that they can do that, and it meets their needs as far as developmental stages. And trust them that they're having fun, and they're learning what they need to learn and what their brain's ready to explore. So there's different ways people can play. So we have physical play, language, exploratory, constructive, and fantasy, and then the 6 is social. So physical is like they're working on their motor skills. Language is their voices, sounds, and words. So you can imagine how from birth on they're doing that. Exploring, they're gaining skills and knowledge. They're testing what they do know already and seeing how it fits. Constructive is that it's building or being creative with things. So they're using their cognitive skills, problem solving, fine motor skills, hand-eye coordination. Fantasy or pretend play lets kids really explore different roles and relationships in a safe environment. They're learning like norms, society norms and things, and testing all of that. For social, they're just practicing life skills. So they're learning communication, and the biggest thing is negotiation. So when they're doing this with us or their peers, they're learning a lot through that in a safe way. They get to test a lot of things. And I don't know about you, but I feel like it's their role in life to test boundaries, and their job is to play. So we need to let them and support that. So it should be active. It's going to be adventurous, where they're going to take risk-taking things, explore the world around them. So when they're using those like language skills and the communicative aspects of play, they're sharing info and knowledge back and forth, and they're asking it from whoever they're playing with, whether that be an adult or a peer. It really, really should be enjoyable. So if it's not fun, creating excitement, they're not laughing about it, it's probably not play. And so if we get bogged down, especially early on in like the academic stuff, it just doesn't register in their brains quite the same way. So, I mean, there's lots of different ways to learn, but the foundation for who your child's going to be and who they recognize themselves as in the world happens a lot through play. So we really need to encourage that. And they need that time to focus on it. That's where their brains should be. We shouldn't be distracting them with things that we think they should be doing. I mean, we obviously want them to be safe. There's things that we can do to help set the stage for them. We want that play to be meaningful, so it's going to encourage and build upon the knowledge they already have, allows them to understand their skills, and they get to test their new theories. Being interactive and social is really good. Kids do need to learn how to play with themselves and build that confidence and trust and the ability to kind of sit still and be in the moment with themselves. But building relationships and learning like how to build strong, secure foundations is really important. They're going to learn all of that through being social. Everything should be symbolic. So I've said like they're testing, right? So they're testing their roles, the rules, relationships. They're testing everything and building their understanding of the world around them and where they fit in it. It should be therapeutic. So if it's engaging and meaningful, it's going to reduce stress for kids and adults. And it can help you work through emotions and experiences. So, I mean, there's a whole science behind like play therapy and things when kids have experienced things and they're working through them, to work through those in play. And then again, I've said this several times, it should be voluntarily. So spontaneous, self-directed, self-chosen, let them change, alter, manipulate. This is hard for somebody like me. I always want to like keep in like, no, you can't change that. I'm already doing this. Well, I have a good check in myself that I need to stop doing that and let him just navigate it. So just remember that you are supporting and not leading the play. That you can plan for play and look at things, and you can learn a lot about your child and their interests and help support that and find ways to increase that, build more knowledge. If they're interested in a certain topic, like use that avenue to get to them, and make all your learning opportunities fun. Like at home, schooling, not everything has to be like, here, you're going to sit here, you're going to write your numbers, you're going to write your letters, right? We can do other things. Make sure you're supporting your play by talking about it, validating them, letting them know it's okay if that failed and talk about that experience. I mean, you really can have a lot and help them learn and role model for them if you are invited to play. Show them positive behaviors, but don't force that. So build them up and have fun, and don't be afraid to do that. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I will set some links to things on this video for you guys for some fun play things. There's a lot of great articles on this. I just covered the very basics. So thank you for joining me today, and I hope you did enjoy it, and I will talk to you again soon. Have a great day.